started talking about self-love and keys to self-love and that flow. And I'm like, okay, what to you is self-love? And how would we define self-love? And one of the things you brought forward was compassion.
Yeah.
And being able to hold a space of compassion. Would you be willing to dive into, like, how does compassion have anything to do with self-love? And how would you actually define self-love? Like, what is it for someone who keeps hearing the buzzword?
Yeah. Self-love is an energy. And it's not, it's not bubble baths and chocolates on Valentine's Day, getting yourself chocolates on Valentine's Day or having a massage. It's the energy with which you do all those things. It's a place that you tap into, and it really is that compassionate place within yourself. Now, compassion gets a bad rap. Compassion does not mean just rolling over and, not being fierce or disciplined. Compassion actually can be fierce, and compassion sometimes does look like being disciplined with yourself. And so when we're talking about self-love, especially in the transformational journey, it's so important that you be disciplined in your own self-love and love yourself fiercely through whatever you're seeing. Because when you choose to transform and you choose to see and really change your life in some way, it's going to be intense. When you fully see what you have been doing and you fully see the new choices that are in front of you, it does require you to sit in that fire. That's what I call it. And then there's this process that we refer to it with Heart. We lovingly refer to as the horrification process, where you actually are a little bit horrified at everything that you have seen, that you have been doing. And that actually is a beautiful fuel to move you forward into the transformation and the changes you want to make. But that self-love in that moment, those delicate moments, is so important. It's actually the magic secret ingredient. Because if you see all these things about yourself and you start to beat yourself up, that is not going to be what moves you forward. It's actually going to be what slows you down, and it's going to stall the rest of the transformational process. So it's a fine line. It's very important that you understand how to love yourself through whatever you're seeing and whatever you're going through, and yet still make the change, still be disciplined. It's not sitting in it. It's not wallowing in what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and the things you want to change. It's lovingly moving forward at the same time.
Yes. All I can say to that is yes.
And that's what I believe transformation is. So if we could talk about that for 10 seconds, that wants to come through. I get asked a lot, what is transformation? And the definition that has channeled through us that we put in our training manuals is something like transformation is the breaking down of the old beliefs and the old patterns and the old behaviors in your consciousness, in your field. And it's the discovery of new choices and the actual movement forward into those new choices to build and create and remember the possibilities, remember the unknown, and meaning the things that are not yet in the physical, but are there. That is a transformation. That's the transformational process, but you have to make space for it. You've got to break down all of the old pieces that are the untruths, the things that are not you, behaviors, the habits, the patterns, the things that you maybe were doing that are not the truth about who you are first, and then move into the new choices. So that's the difference too between healing and transformation. Healing and transformation are not exactly the same thing. Healing is a huge part of transformation and is absolutely what happens and necessary. But transformation is really that movement forward then too. And those new choices that you're making as a result of the healing, as a result of the seeing and the feeling and the, willingness to shift something. That transformation is the thing that is the new choices and the thing that people actually can identify about you that's different too. They're like, wow, you have not only healed this, but you've transformed this energy, this old energy, into a new state of being. And that's how we transform our lives.
Yes. Again, I'm just like, mic drop. Because it's true. It always boils down to choice, right?
Yeah.
No matter what, we have choice
Mm.
in what is going to occur for us.
Yep.
That's the beauty of this journey, of any journey. It's what are you going to do now?
We have a choice to choose love. We have a choice to choose how we go through it. So it's not what you're going through in life. It's how you're going through it that you should pay attention to,
Yes.
Because that's the thing. We get caught up in the content. We get caught up in the, the things that are surface level, but there's actually an energetic pattern and dynamic underneath it that you need to pay more attention to. It's the how you're going through life that actually dictates your energetics and your field and the vibration in which you live.
Yes. And that's one of the things Austin and I are very set about helping individuals begin to understand, because there's an energetic output of this fear energy that we've been navigating for so long. And, we've marketed and sold fear almost as a product. Our negative brain buys into it so quickly. And so we feed more of it. And when you do that, like the energetic output of that is so chaotic. And we can't, like moving forward through that is like attempting to move forward through sludge.
I saw that. I saw that image as you said it.
You really can't. It's like quicksand. But if you look at the energetic output of love and those joy frequencies and those higher frequencies, as we call them, just because on the resonance field, it is a higher frequency.
Yes.
It's not because we're saying it's better.
Not better, yes.
It's
a
just
different frequency.
Yeah, it's a different higher output frequency. The wave of that is actually calmer, more balanced, and easier to navigate. And so even connecting with another person, if you're in fear and I'm in fear, it's like, whoa, crazy. And we can't, like that connection's just not going to happen. But if we're both in a loving frequency, it's so much easier to connect.
Love's an expander. So it really does expand us to be able to connect, see more. It expands all of your choices too. It expands your output. Like you said, it compounds it is what I'm trying to say. It moves it faster and forward into what you're wanting to create, even just more smoothly than the fear. But the fear does, creates as well. It compounds as well. Your energy will always compound. But right now, the love is the choice that is smoother and more connected. I think from that frequency. But pain, is a great connector too. It really does. Pain and fear, they really do connect people in a certain way. But what it does is slow things down, delays your process, delays your transformation, keeps us a little bit more stuck. And that reason is because it reinforces those old beliefs, those old pillars, I call them, in your field, those old pillars of consciousness. And they will get strengthened then. It's, it's like putting putty around a pillar in your house that's already holding up the walls and holding up the house, right? You're like, oh, let's just pack some more on this here. Let's just make this pillar stronger here so that we can live our lives under this pillar and in this place. Whereas, the transformational journey is bringing down that pillar, crumbling that pillar, expanding out past that pillar into that other frequency. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's a very brave journey. But it is worth it.
Because you're always wondering, is the ceiling gonna cave in if I take this pillar away? Right? Totally. Individuals worry, but even if it does, the beauty is you just rebuild it the way you desired from the start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's okay.
This whole new expanded house of consciousness is waiting for you.
Yes.
It's actually there. That's why I always say that part of the transformational process is the remembrance of what's possible, a remembrance of who you really are. Yeah. But humans are suffering from that forgetfulness, that density, that fog, and that asleepness that is, the real pandemic. But it's okay. We have compassion for it too, because we've all been there. If you came in a human body, you've experienced it to some extent until you wake up and move into a different frequency.
Yeah.
Well, comes back to the choice. So I always say too that the transformational process is one that we go through. There's 6 stages that anybody goes through when they're making any change in their life. But often we actually go through the stages unconsciously first until we progress around and then start to go through them consciously, meaning you had to go through the stages unconsciously in order to, go find a coach or, go to a new seminar or pick up a new podcast. You're unconsciously seeking and going through those stages until you actually make that new choice and then start to progress around the circle, as I call it, the circle of healing, into the next layer of that curriculum for you, where you then can more consciously go through those stages around what it is that you want to choose. And this is the exciting part, because this is when you really become the director of your own life.